Sure, you know Earl Robinson as the composer of The Ballad for Americans, The Lonesome Train, The House I Live In, Joe Hill, perhaps his most famous song. And so I've been, Earl was one of the people that I interviewed for this book about Mark BLITZSTEIN, because they knew each other so well, and I figured he'd have reminiscences and stories to tell me, and indeed he did. He's fully credited in my book. And just around that time, within a year or so, Earl decided to write his autobiography and asked me to work with him to do some research, much of which I do on the third floor of this very library in the research collections. So we've been working together in this time that I have now, and after the book is published, I'll be working with him some more. And I'd like to introduce him. He's right here with
Earl
us.
Robinson. It's great to see you here. We just, on Friday afternoon, Eric called me and said, we have an emergency. We have a cancellation at the People's Voice Cafe downtown. Can you come and perform? So Helene and I came down and did a few of the songs that you're hearing now. And who was there but Earl Robinson as well? And we asked him if he would sing something, and he did. He sang his magnificent ballad, "The House I Live In," with the way he sings it. I mean, you have to go and hear it. Next time he's doing that, you let us know. But Earl, is there something that you want to tell us about how you remember Mark? In a story or two. No, not this time. Okay.
Earl actually has a bit of a cold now.
The Ballad for Americans was done on CBS in 1939, and Paul Robeson was asked to sing it. It made a splash. It made a sensation. As a result of this, the Republican National Committee programmed the Ballad for Americans at their convention in 1940. This was something of a shock to John Latouche and me, and we didn't quite know what to do. And Paul Robeson was asked if he would sing, and he refused. And he had not only perhaps a reason that the Republican at that time were no longer the party of Lincoln, but he also had to sing the ballad at Lewisstone Stadium, right here in New York, the very same night that the Republicans were programming it in Philadelphia. Well, the New Yorker got hold of this and called Latouche and me in to discuss the matter. And their report, which I paraphrase, is better than I could say it. It turned out that Latouche and Robinson were attending the Lewisstone Stadium performance. And we wrote the Ballad for Americans for everybody, not only Republicans, said Mr. Latouche. Especially not only Republicans, said Mr. Robinson.
There's an even more recent funny story, which we thought you were alluding to when you brought it up about the Republican National Committee. They quoted from his song, "The House I Live In," at the last Republican convention without attributing it, without giving him credit. Did you ever get any royalties on that? No.
Helene wants me.
Seems to me, though, that what we're talking about right now is the universality of art. That no matter what the thing was written about, it applies someplace.